Hello, friends. I once again welcome you back to my lecture series on the subject intellectual property rights. The subject is research methodology and intellectual property rights. This subject has been introduced by Visvesvaraya Technological University for its full-time MBA program. This has been introduced by for MBA Part 2, MBA Part 1, Semester 2. As a part of this subject, research methodology, intellectual property rights, myself, Dr. Basavaraja Kurchimat, the professor for the subject dealing with intellectual property rights. Today is my fifth lecture series. I'm going to discuss today the intellectual property rights invention and creativity, intellectual property rights importance. That is, we are going to study today how intellectual property right is protecting the innovation and creativity, and how intellectual property is important in different aspects, not only in developing creativity and inventions, but it is also very important in economic and legal aspects of the country, and also socially it is very important. Let us discuss this lecture with the points connected to this. Question may be asked regularly in most of the examination, final examinations of the subject. That is, discuss the importance of intellectual property rights, elucidate how intellectual property rights supports innovation and creativity and helps for the development of the nation. Question may be asked like this, so you need to answer with this lecture series. Thank you, friends. I will just classify the importance of intellectual property rights into three different categories. Intellectual property right is important due to following three important reasons. One is called as intellectual property rights encourages creativity and innovation. Let us understand how it encourages creativity and innovation. Let us also discuss the next part of it, that is economic and legal importance of intellectual property rights, and also the social importance of intellectual rights. The first point is intellectual property right encourages creativity and innovation. Any kind of innovations made by the inventors or discoverers, they have to enjoy the fruits of it for several days, basically because they put all their efforts in creating this. So intellectual property rights encourages the investment protection. For example, for newly invented products, the innovators will pump not only the effort and time for that, but also the money for inventing that, for discovering that particular thing. Whenever so much of effort has been made, the investment of the time, money, and effort has to be protected, at least for some time, till it is recovered, and the inventor has to get benefit out of it. So creators and companies can confidently invest resources in research and development, knowing their innovations won't be immediately copied by competitors who don't bear development costs. It means that with the confidence that whenever I introduce any of the new products in the market, nobody can immediately copy it. At least for the several years, they have that protection for their innovation, so that they can repay the investments made on development of that particular product. That is what it benefits and supports the. Because of this, lot of companies today are investing more on money on research and development for the product and services what they produce and sell in the market. Next one is market incentives. That exclusive rights create a market opportunities that reward originality and innovation rather than imitation, driving progress through healthy competition. It means that whenever the new product is introduced by the company as a unique selling proposition in that particular product in the market, so it cannot be copied easily by the competitors. So it gives the protection in the market and helps the innovators who have introduced that particular new things in the existing product can report the market incentives for several years, so that it will protect from the competition. And if at all the demand is there good in the market, so no competitor can copy and submit it to the give it to the customers. Customers can buy it from the original manufacturers, original sellers of that particular product. Third important one is exclusive rights. Patents, copyrights, and trademarks and trade secrets. The great inventors and creators temporarily monopolize or control over how their work is used, which encourages further investment in new ideas. It means that they will understand where to use that particular product. They will have certain plans for that. Either they will produce the product or sell it to third parties like a product. The rights are used. Intellectual property rights are like a products. They can be bought and sold as and when required by the inventors. They can sell it to any person, block them or from production of that particular activity, ask for the royalties. So these are all the benefits they can enjoy only if the intellectual property right is practiced in the country. If there is no intellectual property rights protecting the exclusive rights, the copying of the product or copying of the design can be easily made by the third parties, and the inventors may not get the benefit out of that. That is why intellectual property rights are encouraging this. Then monetary rewards, all kinds of monetary rewards by the sales or selling that commercialization of their innovations and making innovations financially attractive. So all these benefits they can report just by using their ideas and thoughts which are patented and registered. So it will protect in the market. That is what the monopoly rewards and all that. The last important one is the market advantage. They can take the perfect market advantage by using that, having a unique products or products in a brands. Normally the demand for the new products may be more, or they can sell it in the niche market at the higher rates for the sometimes. And when the product becomes what you call as important, the bottom of the pyramid customers can also be sold by modifying the cost related to aspects and target it to the next segments so that they can report for sometimes the market advantage and earn the money name and trade names and brand awareness to the customers. These are all the benefits of IPR for creativity and innovations. Next one is economic and legal important. It is not only helping for creativity and innovations or what you call as encouraging the innovators and creators, but it is also helpful in an economic and legal way of the intellectual property rights. What is that economic impact and what is that legal framework? One is economic and IP intensive industries generate approximately economically. If you see the IP registering organizations which have patents or copyrights of their own products, they are making 38% contribution to the developing countries GDP. That is, gross domestic product is being contributed by 38%. It means that no third party can intervene and take away the product so that the demand can be subsided. These companies, when they have the patent rights and IPR properties, they can utilize it and grab out more profit. And by that particular growth, they can contribute it to the national exchequer or to the treasury of the country in the form of paying a high amount of taxes and all that. So 38% is the GDP contribution by IP intensive industries like pharmaceutical companies, intellectual information technology industries, or even by the new innovative design companies and all that. The next important one is creates higher wage jobs. As you know that the companies which are having a IP registered things and all that, their market is normally potential and they can hire more a number of employees for the job and they can pay good salaries to them also. So because of that, the economic power of the company as well as the employees will enhance in the market. Take an example of Infosys. The Infosys products are all patented. Nobody can copy it. The persons who are working in Infosys are enjoying the fruits of that because Infosys has a good trade and a name. No third party can just copy it and duplicate the Infosys products and diminish the Infosys market in the country. It's not possible. Then next one is enables monetization through licensing, franchising, and merchandising for the companies or innovators. The company which has invested money in research and development and identifies the new product, either it can produce it on its own or else it can sell it to any third party or franchise it and merchandise it so that they can earn royalty or price on the intellectual property products. Next one is attracts venture capitalists, investors to start up with the that is protected inventions. Venture capitalists will also be more interested in new products because it has got a large market in days to come. So most of the new investors, small investors or angel investors may come up to support that. So this will reduce the financial supply or the flow of funds in the market. It will encourages the people. That is a economic benefit by the intellectual property rights. The last one is facilitates technology transfer and cross-border trades. Any transfer of the technology happens between two countries. The innovative country is always having a fear that its products may be duplicated in the host country, where in the investing country, where they may spoil their image, these rights. But when the intellectual property rights are operating, they can freely come to any other country and start doing the activity because there is a protection for their invented products in the country. Legally, if you see, the international framework is also being made, and it is being satisfied by intellectual property rights systems in the country. For example, international treaties like trade-related intellectual property rights, that is TRIPS, and agreements provides global standards. When there is a global standard, any country which is operating in the global way, its products are also protected, and they are supposed to protect the intellectual property rights of the other countries also. So bilaterally, it will protect each country's interest in the market for the new products launch and all that. That is what we call as legal framework. Third one is intellectual property rights offices are at a national level. Registrars and enforcement will happen. So it leads to registration of the products and all that. It will also be administered through registrations process and all that. So intellectual property rights always demands for registration of that, and process will be made easy, and operational activities will be made. This will not only help to frame out the legal protection for the intellectual property rights, but also helps the legal revenue generated to courts and all that for doing such kind of services. This is one more benefit. The third important benefit of the legal framework is courts adjudicate infringement and disputes and damages. So court power will be more, and court will intervene into such kind of intellectual property litigations. That is what the legal framework asks for. Intellectual property valuation influences mergers, acquisitions, and business deals. When there is a legal protection, the products, innovated products, what called as patent rights, copyrights, are all intangible assets which can be violated and shown on the asset side of the balance sheet under the intangible assets. And intangible assets like goodwill, patents, and copyrights, that amount can be mentioned. That amount is calculated based on the importance of that particular product in the market. So when such kind of legal activities are there, then only this is possible. During acquisitions and mergers, they will get additional value for their copyrights and patents. Last one is growing focus on digital rights management in online environments. In the digital platforms and all that, going is very easy because intellectual property rights legal framework is applicable for even online environment, that is on digital platforms also it is applicable. Any person who violates, duplicates can be identified and can be punished. The next one is the social importance of IPR. How IPR is going to help the social level? Because of this the IPR, jobs and economic growth will automatically happen because IPR industries will have a monopolistic market, like indirectly, because their products are having a protection against copying. So they may grab more market, and automatically the revenues will increase because of that job. This will increase income of the workers working there, will increase their income, and their purchasing power will also increase. Because of that, they will get a good standard in the society, and they demand good products, and automatically the market is established in the country. So it is a social benefit indirectly. Cultural and artistic developments, any copyrights protections and all that will protect the heritage of that particular country, will protect the culture of that particular country, which cannot be duplicated. For example, the Channapatna dolls, which are produced by the Channapatna workers, may not be copied by easily by third parties because the designs are patented and they can claim it internationally. So Indian products identified in the international way is a pride for the country also, because the country's village products are going to the global markets because of this intellectual property protections. If it is not there, it can be copied by anybody and there is no value for the heritage. It just becomes a product, not a heritageous products. Next one is encouragement for research and development. Automatically, the people are more interested to have a research and development because their outcome will be patented. Today, for example, most of the writers of the research journals and all that are more interested to read more and write more and contribute more. Innovative incentives are more because they are patented or they can be copyright written. So they are attaching the revenues for out of that. Whenever the copyright is there, nobody can easily copy it and all that. Anybody who wants to copy has to pay money to the real authors and all that. So it encourages research and development among the people. Even the faculties in teaching field also today are more interested to publish more. Basically, intellectual property rights are there where their products will, which are used, can be cited in the research activities. Every citation will give them a certain amount of credit, not only in money, but in also in terms of intellectual, that is academic performance index scores can also be increased. That is why Google scholars and all that are able to highlight the indexing of the research journals and also the citations made by that particular author. His names and fames will be more in the research world. Okay, friends, with all these discussions, I'm going to end this lecture series. Hope this lecture is useful to you. And whatever I have discussed in today's lecture, question may be asked in the examination. What is the importance of intellectual property rights? Or discuss how intellectual property is supporting the creativity and the innovations in the country. How intellectual property rights is supporting the economic development and social development of the nation. So these are all the things we are going to have studied today. Hope this lecture is useful to you. Thank you very much for watching my video. I'll come up with the other videos in the next class. Till then, bye bye. Thank you.